Good day, viewers. I'm Matt, this is Jerva with the Busted Couch, and we are here to bring you our very first game review together for The Last of Us for PS3. Probably one of the most amazing games that either of us has ever played in our lives.
Yep. I'll need to wait until it's not quite as fresh, but...
Same.
Definitely in the top 5. Possibly my favorite game of all time. Graphics, not quite beyond Two Souls level of insane, but really, really gorgeous.
Yeah, I'd say it's on par with the Uncharted games as far as like graphical fidelity and stuff is concerned.
I think it looks better than them.
A little bit. Did you play the Uncharted games?
I played the first one a bit.
Yeah, you gotta play the third one, second and third one.
I've seen trailers and everything. Just the design, I think, the level design in this really, like, the fact that it's actual locations a lot of the time, and just the way they like aged them and made them all destroyed and post-apocalyptic-y.
And like the nature overgrowing and taking back society, all that stuff.
Looks just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the facial animation is really, really good.
Yeah, all the subtle stuff.
Yeah, especially Tess. I noticed a lot of like times where you just notice her like kind of purse her lips or like subtly raise an eyebrow or kind of like set her jaw.
Yeah, and the fact that like the voice actors did an amazing job of doing their part, and like it all complemented each other. Yeah. So
I think all the voice actors did motion capture for the cutscenes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
So well, I mean, even that, like, they still had good facial animations and stuff in game.
Yeah, and
like there's one point.
Oh yeah, like when you're choking someone out, if you spin the camera around to like watch their face as you're doing it.
Yeah. And also there's
the thing is, it's not even like the same thing that they'll do. Like that is when you choke them out. It's like that's what that guy did. When you choke out this guy, it's different.
And the one scene where the one bandit is trying to cut Joel's face on that piece of broken glass, and it's just like his face is just like.
Yeah, you can feel the effort in these people in their movements and the way they fight and everything.
Yeah, everything's got like weight to it, and like it just nothing feels like it's inappropriate or I don't know. It's just it's
everything fits what it has. They also fit like they hit the perfect like sweet spot of realism, but cartoony enough that it doesn't get creepy, uncanny valley on you. Like everyone looks perfectly fine. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I have to say about graphics. The one this is my biggest negative about the game is in the dark, sometimes a blood pool under a dead enemy will kind of have like a purple shine on it. Like obvious shine where it's sticking out when everything else is kind of black around it. It's not a major thing, it's just a little tiny thing. And that's my biggest complaint about the game. So.
Yeah, the only complaint I have about the game is well, there's that, and then the AI hiccups here and there, but I mean in my opinion it's minimal. I had very minimal experiences with like the AI fucking up or anything like that.
The lack of load times.
Yeah. As soon as you load the game
at the start, and then never again.
Yeah, that's it. The pacing is great.
Mm-hmm.
There's
the storytelling on display is just fantastic.
I always feel compelled to keep playing the game, even through those moments where you just committed something really brutal.
It's so dark and everything,
it's dark.
But it's still... I mean, you feel the same drive the characters have, just to go on, to keep doing this, to get it done, to continue. Throughout the whole thing, it's just... It's really amazing.
Yeah, we both experienced a tough time putting the controller down and actually making ourselves quit playing the game. Like, I myself played through it.
Even on a second playthrough.
Yeah, even myself... Like on the first playthrough, I did 3 big sittings where like the first 6 hours of the game, I sat there for 6 or 7 straight hours playing the game.
I was going to do 3 settings when I started it on Saturday. I didn't stop until I'd finished it, which was about 6 a.m. Because I was just like, no, gotta keep going. No, it's like, oh. I mean, because like there's like the stuff that I was at when I was about to stop is stuff that it's like, oh, I gotta see what happens here. No, I can't stop.
Yeah, and you're always wondering like what the next character you're going to run into is.
Well, now I'm just going to grab some stuff, and it's like, oh, what's happening now? Oh, I got to get through this. Oh, I got to kill that. Oh, I got to get through here, and now to be safe, and now I can say, oh, this is happening now.
Just gotta loot this area. Just to, there's always something that wants to make you keep going.
Driving you forward.
The game is paced well in the fact that like you'll go through like a really brutal section and it gives you a nice relaxing like search and look around time.
Everything about the design, like the way it'll switch up enemy types, the way it'll switch up what type of gameplay it is when it sticks in the little like area traversals and scrounging and like puzzles and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, even when that's happening, you never know where or when enemies will come, so you're always kind of on edge.
The music and sound design.
Oh, the sound design is amazing.
Like the music is always fitting, and it kind of does, as you were mentioning before, that in BioShock where like the music will ramp up for combat and then end at like a certain point. It has like a
specific like note sound that would play at the end when you'd killed everyone in an area in BioShock Infinite.
Well, The Last of Us does something similar, but it doesn't totally end. It keeps going a little bit and like plays in the background.
It's more like it'll calm down again when there's no one in your immediate vicinity.
Yeah.
But you never know if that's all of them. There could be someone else. Yeah, so you're like still kind of like creeping through, looking through everything, because you don't know how many people there are, who's there.
And sometimes if you're not suspecting it, all of a sudden you'll hear this guy just yell, "Hey, there they are!" Yeah. And then the music will ramp up and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, because I had no idea there was anyone there. I was like, "Oh no, I didn't get to stealth any of them. Oh, I was going to take all my bullets.
Yeah.
My precious bullets."
And the way the game is, like, as far as like the actual items and looting and stuff is concerned, you have a realistic capacity for stuff, and if you want to make sure that you have all the stuff made before combat starts. So like if you can make everything that you can,
because the crafting menu is real time. So you're stopped and like looking through a menu and building this thing, but there's still a guy running at you, trying to shoot your face
or stab it. Or something,
or just punch it.
So,
or tear it off.
Eat you. And the thing with this is kind of off topic as far as like sound and stuff is concerned, but just another thing on graphics and character designs and stuff is that in the game I didn't really notice a lot of similar enemy skins. Like there was like, a humongous variety.
Yeah, like they all. It almost feels like every single person you run into is individually designed.
Yeah, and the infected look different.
Yeah, different hoodies, different stuff.
And sometimes it's not even like...
They feel like actual people.
Yeah, sometimes it's like the face will be different, but the clothes will be different, or like they just like basically have this like all like set aside so that it can interchange at any one moment. So it doesn't feel like it's just predetermined as what everything's going to be, or like if it's just
also,
a copy of everything.
The darkness. This is a dark game, like visually. And most of the time you're like running through stuff and there's no electricity or anything, and it's night, so it is like pretty much pitch black a lot of the times.
Yeah, especially in the underground areas.
Yeah, and it works so great, especially when you know there's people around. It's like, turn off the light. It's like, I can't barely see anything.
Yeah, because you don't want them to see you, so you have to turn off your light. Or in the case of like the enemies, most of them are blind, but some of them aren't.
Yeah, some of them
aren't. Like the creatures, so you just have to be able to react to a whole bunch of different situations at any given time, depending on what you're running into. So like,
it never feels annoying that like somehow it's like a gameplay detriment that you can't see as much. It's like, no, it feels like you're limited in what you can do, and you have limited resources, and it makes it feel really desperate. And it's like, oh, come on, where is he? Gotta get the jump on him. He can't get the jump on me. I'm screwed.
And sometimes you'll get into a combat situation where you have almost nothing left.
Yeah.
And you have to sneak around and try to find items while enemies are looking for you.
Yeah. It's like, I gotta get a good melee weapon or something at least.
Yeah. I gotta be able to make a shiv or something. It's
a shiv is so useful.
Yeah. And it gets you pumped. Like your heart's pumping. You're just like, what's gonna happen here? Because I am not prepared for any of this. So.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that.
Another thing with the graphics, death animations. Holy crap, there's first of all, they are brutal. And second of all, there's so much variety to what happens, like with the guns and everything.
Yeah.
Especially like a shotgun, like you can blast someone's arm off and you can see like their bones sticking out of the remainder of their arm and everything. Also, everything reacts the way it is. Like, if you wing someone and just catch them like barely in the shoulder with the edge of the shotgun blast, it's not going to do any damage. Like, you could hit a guy like 5 times like that, he's still up.
Yeah.
But you catch him once in the face, his face isn't there anymore.
Depends on your distance too.
Yeah, that's true.
So
but, overall, like all the guns act like it never feels like it's like here's their health bar. This type of shot takes off this much. This type of shot takes off that much. You have to deplete the. It feels like you're actually fighting people.
Yeah, because you can one-hit kill almost anything in the game.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to be very...
Yeah, you have to be able to aim correctly. You have to be a good marksman on it.
What else?
Gunshots.
Yes, sound.
Yeah. Most games, kind of like... In real life, guns are really fucking loud. Most games kind of downplay that because you're firing all the time. This one doesn't. A gunshot is loud.
Yeah, if you're firing...
Especially if you've been sneaking around for a while and haven't fired anything, they fire just like BANG!
And it's different when you're outside or inside.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you're in a house and you're in a small room and you shoot your shotgun,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my god, I'm deaf. And like, this game sound really matters because certain enemies can only hear you, they can't see you, so... even like little minor footsteps, like if you have your volume up and you have surround sound, it really works well to your to be able to pinpoint an enemy.
And it's not just the, like, if I'm holding this down and pressing the run button, I'm running and making louder sound. If I'm just kind of sneaking, there's other things, like there's tons of stuff you can knock over. Like if you kind of elbow a chair, it'll like kind of scrape across the floor, and they can hear that. You can knock over a lamp or whatever. There's stuff all over that can be moved and will make sound.
And if certain things hear you, you're fucked. Or possibly fucked.
Probably.
Probably fucked. Depending on the difficulty level you're playing on and all that, but yeah.
That's another fun thing, is the way they did difficulty level in this. Because it's not like
From what I understand.
It's not making things bullet spongy. It's making it harder. There's less stuff when already you were having problems where you kind of like... Normal, you never really feel like, oh, I've got everything. It's like, no, there's times when you're completely out. Like, your favorite gun, you might have just, gone through a hard combat. It's like, well, I have no bullets for that.
And then you won't find anything for that gun for like an hour or two. You're just like, no.
Yeah. And just like the difficulties ramp up the AI in great ways. Like, they sense by sound. Well, now they sense sound better.
Or they're
more
aggressive.
Tenacious. They're more like, they won't stop. They'll chase you down worse, so that you have to fight them all at once more, and then you run out of all your stuff and or die.
And it's one of the most like craziest feelings when you have to actually make that run away from something, and you know that if you turn around,
that is an actual thing in the game. In the tips, the first survival tip, like tip number 1, run away. That is tip number 1 for survival. And it's true. Like, you have to. And, like, they actually work it in where, like, if you're running at someone, like, you're running straight at them, they have a good line, they're more likely to hit you. If you're running away, you're less likely, and you might be able to get away. And if you can get away and hide, like, chances are they'll kind of go defensive and, like, because they're not sure exactly where you are, so they'll be walking around slowly, like, looking all over the place trying to find you.
I actually, at one point, decided to go against that, and I ran at a guy with a shotgun. Well... Joel lost part of his face. And then there was another part where I did the same thing, but I zigzagged, and they missed me on their shots. And I was like, yes! And I went up and I baseball batted their face in. And the way that the death animations work for the enemies is especially great and gruesome because, like, if you hit them in the right way, their head will cave in, or, like, they'll lose an arm, or...
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you can use your different weapons in different ways. Like, you can pick up a brick or a bottle and throw it to make sounds. So people are like, what is that? And then you can get behind them or something.
Or you throw it at them.
Yeah. Or you can hit them in the head and kind of daze them and charge at them. Or, if it's like close combat, you just switch to your brick, you're like, bang! You just smash someone across the face with a brick.
And most of the time, that kills them.
Yeah, I noticed a couple times when I had my shotgun out, when I hit melee, I literally just, like, smashed him with my shotgun to knock him away.
For the first hit.
Yeah, for the first hit, yeah. Which, like, because that makes sense. Like, you're not going to be like, well, I have to get this pipe that is on my back while I'm struggling with this guy and then whack him. So, no, you hit him with what you have.
And then you'll pull out something while they're dazed.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes sense. Like, they went into complete and utter detail with this stuff.
It's really impressive.
Oh, there's also, like, the unique moments, like some moments where you'll be kind of dazed or, like, hanging upside down or whatever.
There's different stuff that happens that will affect... It'll affect lots of stuff. Like, it'll affect how you hear, how you see, all these things in really cool ways. And, actually, on top of this, after you beat the game, you have the option to unlock view modes, which seem like they would just make the game even harder. Like, you can play it in black and white. You thought you had trouble seeing everyone in the dark before? Now the game's in black and white. Or old-timey cowboy sepia tone. I don't know why, but it could be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there really isn't much I can say that's bad about the game.
There's so much variety in the level design. Like, some parts are really open, some parts are really claustrophobic, some parts it's nice and bright, some places it's pitch black, you know, and then in those places, what type of thing are you fighting? Is it humans? Is it the infected? If it's humans, what kind? Like, because there's different types. Like, there is the military, and the military has, like, armor, and they carry better weapons, but maybe it's, like, crazy, you know, hunting, scrounging people who are, like, all dirty in hoodies and are armed with, like, 2x4s with nails in them and like, a couple pistols. It keeps changing up what you're doing, where you're doing, how you're doing it. So even though the basics of the combat are the same throughout the game, it never feels repetitive or like I'm still just playing through combat to get to the next area. Like, it always feels really cool. You get to the next area, it's like, oh, this is so cool. You get to the next area, it's like, oh, this is so cool.
There's some points in the game where you walk into an area and say, well, it seems like there's going to be combat here. But then again, sometimes you walk into those areas and nothing will happen. It kind of throws you off in that respect sometimes with level design. So.
And then there's other parts where you're totally like, okay, I'm safe. And then, like, all of a sudden, no.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, some guy will just scream, there they are! As far as like the game's story is concerned, we won't talk about it too much in depth right now, but progresses really well. The characters
the character
are
development in this
amazing.
Is fantastic.
Like,
so
some of them, like you somehow grow attached to even, like...
I'll just go and say it. Joel is an asshole.
Yeah.
But he's a great character. Like, you understand, like, the way the opening of this game is set up, you get so much of a feeling, like, even though it just cuts, like, flash cuts 20 years, like, you know, from the night that the whole thing started to 20 years after, like, basically the end of the world. You get so much of a feeling for what he's gone through and what his life has been during that time and who he is and everything. It's really cool. And even though, like, honestly, he's not just an asshole, he's also kind of a psychopath.
There's moments when it's, like, a little creepy. And I'm just like, oh, okay, Joel. There's him and then, like, all the other characters that you run into along the way as well.
It surprises me sometimes, like, with what actually happens and who you're with and stuff like this. Just there's some surprises. Like, it seemed to me like I was basically going to be an escort mission where you are leading Ellie, you know, wherever you are. But other times, I mean, there's times when you're not with her. There's times in this game when you play as someone who isn't Joel. There's times when you're in a group of, like, several people and you're still, like, you know, sneaking around and trying to get through stuff. It switches it up all the time.
And the thing about the game is that with most escort games, like, where it kind of just pisses you off, there's never a moment where you're annoyed at the AI, because they've made it so that, like, if the AI makes too much noise or whatever,
if you are hidden and they're not aware of you, nothing that your AI companions do will notify them. Only stuff you do will notify them.
Yeah.
However, if they already know you're there, then they'll sense the people and they can go after your companions.
Yeah, so it can be a little bit odd sometimes, or
they'll see someone,
take
like,
you out
run
of it.
right by someone and they don't really seem to notice.
But otherwise, like, that's my biggest complaint, really. Like, even the purple blood kind of is trumped by that, but
I don't know. I didn't get too many times when anyone did something like that.
I had that a few, I think 2 or 3 times first playthrough. So
the worst I had was a weird physics glitch where I'd, like, strangled a guy, and then I ducked behind, like, I strangled him and then ran back behind some cover for the back because someone was coming. And Ellie,
and it threw him?
Ellie had been ahead, and Ellie ran over his body, and then his body just, like, popped up in the air about 20 feet and, like, landed at the feet of the guy walking forwards. He's like,
Yeah. I had that happen where, like, I killed a guy near, like, a barricade, and it flung him, like, 20 feet in one direction. I'm like, what happened? But, like, those are minor things. Yeah. Honestly, that happened once.
Yeah, they're not, like, prevalent. Like, this might happen. And compared to a lot of games, like, honestly, there's very little in the way of bugs or glitches here. And certainly not nearly enough to take away from the actual experience.
On a final note on story, I think that there's going to be some people that don't like the ending, but I think it all made sense and it was really well done. So
I always hate it when people will talk about not liking the ending to stuff. It's like, you know what? It's a story. They can end it however the hell they want.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, this was like, story-wise, this is a good ending. Whether or not you personally like it or not doesn't really matter.
Because it's true to the characters.
I mean, the thing is that that's one thing that video games are starting to finally get right. Because honestly, there's been a lot of great games that then get to the ending and it's just like, that's how you're ending this. I mean, hell, even like Fallout 3, you get to the end, it's like, that. Okay.
Good job.
Because I'm traveling with a dude who's immune to radiation. You can't go. No, goodbye, folks.
Anyway, to conclude the review of the game, we both thought it was absolutely amazing, and thank you very much, Naughty Dog, for making this thing a possibility to play. So, love you long time. I give it.
Yeah, probably gonna be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I know like Watch Dogs and GTA 5 are coming up, but
I honestly don't see them being better.
Yeah, like that would, if they are, this will be like pretty much the greatest year for gaming. Because, I mean, like, BioShock was good. This is so much better.
Yeah, it basically curb stomped BioShock, in my opinion. But BioShock didn't have the caliber of gameplay that this game does.
No, BioShock had a really good story.
Great atmosphere and character design.
Yeah, but the actual gameplay itself was pretty mediocre. It wasn't bad, it was just nothing special.
Anyway, this is not about that.
Yeah. It's special.
Yeah.
Everything about it is special.
So, my recommendation, go buy it immediately. The game ran me 13 hours and 13 minutes my first playthrough. Do you remember how long it was for you?
About 17.
17?
Mm-hmm.
You did a little bit more searching around, I guess?
Yeah, well, I also tended to go slower.
So yeah, that's the range for us. I mean, we both played it on normal. We're playing New Game Plus right now, and plan to play through it on hard and survival.
One sad thing is you can only New Game Plus on the same or an easier difficulty as you beat it on.
Yeah.
So we can't New Game Plus on hard or survivor unless we just play through it on hard or survivor first.
Yeah. So 3 more playthroughs for me.
Which is fine. I mean, I've never had a game where I immediately beat it and it's like, well, time to play through it again. I mean, unless you count, like, Street Fighter or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm already, like, 4.5 hours into my next playthrough or whatever.
Yeah, I'm almost 4, I think.
So, anyway, get it. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment below if you have something to add or say about the game or our video. If you really liked everything, please hit that subscribe button. And hopefully we'll catch you again next time.